Welcome to the Reggie Parker Show. I'm Reggie Parker, and you're not. Coming to you here, sitting in Fort Greene Park on this very cold morning. I want to do outside. You see the beautiful Brooklyn scenery behind me. But today I want to talk about something that I think some bass players might be interested in. What are the 5 things that every bass player should be seeking right now? What are the 5 things that every bass player should be seeking right now if you have not found them already? I have an acronym and it's called TLLCB, and I'm gonna explain. First thing that many bass players are seeking and they often ask me about, and when I posted about it, I could tell a lot I haven't found it yet. It's called tone. Tone. You gotta find your tone. And a lot of people still have yet to find their tone. What is tone? Tone is your basic sound that you have every time you play. It's how you sound. It's so important because your tone, you can stand out in a crowd with your tone alone. It's like a singer that just sings using they're not doing ad-libs. It's just their tone of their voice. Somebody that can sing the alphabet straight because their tone sounds so beautiful, like Layla Hathaway. You'll say, wow, she can sing. This is how you want your playing. When you play your bass, you want people to say, whoa, I don't know who's on bass, but he or she sounds great. That bass sounds great. For me, my tone, I have a 1992 custom Penza Shore jazz bass made just for me. And it has heavy wood. If you did this if you picked the neck up and did this, it's like lifting weights. It's that heavy. And when I walk with it in my bass case, it's very heavy. And it hurts my back. And I stand up for a long period of time playing it. It hurts. But that tone comes from that wood. That old school wood is magical. It has a great sound. When I play, I turn both my volume knobs on 10 all the way up. I turn my treble all the way up on 10 and my bass all the way up. Every single time that I play. All the records you heard me on, whether it's just my record or all those gospel records, that's the setting. I don't add nothing to it. That's how it sounds. It's a beautiful bass. I was very blessed to have it. And I'm blessed to still have it. I love it. I love how it sounds. I love how it feels. You have to work on your tone. You have to decide what type of sound you want. You could say you're working on your tone/sound. Do you like mine? Do you like your settings all the way up, treble all the way up, bass all the way up? If not, put your treble halfway. Put your bass halfway. So I'll put your bass all the way up, treble down. You want that Jameson sound? You want the Jocko sound? What sound do you want? That's up to you. Tone is on you. But tone is important. You gotta find your own tone. You gotta know what you want. You have to know what you want. Once you find your tone, the next thing you want to work on is the next L, the first L. Anybody know what that is? You want to find your own and define your own licks. We all have a bassist that inspired us to play. You may steal 1 or 2 licks from them, but at some point, you have to start to create your own licks. That's how you can stand out in the crowd and people can differentiate you on records. Yo, that sound like such and such. That's that Reggie Parker-ish right there. That John Doe-ish. What does that mean? That means that sound like something Reggie Parker would do. Because you become known for that. And the more you play, the more people get used to your sound, especially if you keep doing what you're doing. So you have to be in search of your own licks. It's a beautiful thing because you don't want to keep doing licks from the person that inspired you because that's going to get corny after a while. You don't want them to say you sound like this person all the time. After time, people are gonna do that in the beginning, but as time goes on, you start to define yourself. That's where that Reggie Parker comes in. That sounds like something Reggie would do, and you want people to start to do that for you. That sounds like something you would do. And after you do that, the other L, you want to be in your own lane. What does that mean? That means you start to define what it is you do the best on the bass. What are you great at on the bass? What are you good at if you're not great at it? Playing bottom? You can get a whole lot of work playing bottom. You great at grooving? You can always work as a groover. You great at grooving and playing bottom? You great at grooving and playing melodies? What are you great at on the bass? If this was an interview and somebody asked you without them ever hearing you play, sir, ma'am, what are you great at doing on your bass? What would your answer be? And it can't be some childish, shallow answer. If somebody asks me that, oh man, I'm great at grooving. I'm great at creating grooves. I'm great at playing melodies, creating melodies. I'm great at creating intros. I'm great at sitting in the pocket. I'm very disciplined, but I also have a whole lot of flavor. That defines Reggie Parker. What defines your playing? And you have to be honest with yourself. Because if the interview goes well, guess what the next step is? They want to hear you play. And they wrote down everything you just said that you're great at, and they listening for that. So be honest. The next one starts with a B. That simply means, no, the next one is C, my bad. The next one is very important. Very, 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 oh my goodness. Confidence. 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 Please, guys, you gotta be confident in what you play, how you play, what you create. People can see that. They can see what you're playing. They can see if you're confident or not. Confidence, man, it just comes across real, real strong. And I see a lot of bass players on social media, male and female. Y'all some confident people when you're playing these cover tunes and that track is blasting in the background. Woo, we can't tell you nothing. Turn that track off and play something on your own, and let's see if you have that same energy. A lot of you got that energy when you play them cover tunes. When somebody asks you to play something that you wrote or created on the spot, you crash and burn. Shouldn't be that way. You ever hear organists when they sit and they play the organ? You hear how great they sound when they start padding and playing them chords? Ooh, it's a beautiful thing. A good drummer sits down and finally gets they set the way they want it and they start playing a hot groove. It's a beautiful thing. They understand the assignment. You have to understand the assignment of playing the bass. Nowadays, most bass players, when they pick their bass up, the first thing they do is play a run or chords. No bass lines. What happened to bass lines? What happened? You gotta have bass lines in music. You have to. Once you get to that point of being creative, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta be confident in all that you do on your bass, especially playing by yourself. I can't say that enough. Because we all know a lot of you, if you play by yourself right now, it's not gonna have that same type of energy as you would when you're playing those cover tunes. Lastly, then I'm gonna just freestyle talk about some other things. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready when you get that phone call. Because a lot of times in this music industry, the higher up you get, a lot of stuff is gonna be on the spot. I got a call the other day, one Friday night, 10 at night. Reg, I want to feature you on this song. I need you to do a solo for me. Okay, cool, send it over. I like the song. But here's the thing, I need it back in the morning. So I had to start creating right there that night. I created a blueprint for me to follow, almost finished it, got up the next morning, finished it, got it to my liking, went to the gym, came back, changed something, sent it to him. He had it before noon. Done. Ready for the world to hear it. When that phone rings, you can't say, you know what? Give me 3 weeks and I'll get back to you. Click, on to the next person. This is where your everything that I just said, confidence, you got to have your licks ready. You got to have all the stuff needed to get the job done so you can sound like you. So the person that gets to say, yo, this is dope. And the one thing about playing bass is when you create stuff, you got to know that it's dope. The musicality, that's where musicality comes in. Musicality is your brain telling you musically, this fits this song. And you know that it fits the song. You don't hear people talk about musicality no more. We almost in 2025 and we need to start talking about musicality so you guys understand it. When I created the intros, say how much you can bear, musically, I knew it fit perfectly like a bespoke suit. I knew it. It was just a matter of if Hez was gonna like it or not. But if he said he didn't like it, I knew that it fit. King of Glory, I had already created that bass line before I even heard the song. When I heard the song in rehearsal, I went to the MD, Arcel Vickers. I said, yo, bro, I got the perfect intro for this in the same key. That's because when I practiced, I was practicing for my moment without even realizing it. Yes, I did cover tunes for a season, not for a career. Cover tunes have their purpose, but they should only last you for a season. Then you start to get your own licks, you develop your own sound, your own ish. That's how it should go. Nowadays, it's just cover tune city. A lot of you just want attention based off cover tunes. If you think that's gonna work for you, it's not. There's too many other bass players that can play and they doing the same thing that you're doing. And one thing I'm gonna tell you guys, stop following the crowd of other bass players. Stop worrying about what the basses they play, the strings that they use, the amps that they use, the licks that they doing, because a lot of you have the same exact sound, the same exact cadence, and you sound just like everybody else. You got to be very cognizant. That's why I'm telling you to get your own sound. Stop studying the bass players on Instagram. Study the bass players of the past, the great ones, the ones that were on records, not the ones getting 1 million views on Instagram and not on any records. How about that? I guarantee you it will help you in your journey as a bass player. Guarantee you. Because they guys that you study and been there, done that. Simple. Life, your journey as a bass player cannot just be staring at Instagram, Facebook. You got to go and study. The Bible says study to show yourself approved. How many are you really studying? Do you even know what it takes to study as a bass player? Do you even know that? Who are you studying? You studying the most popular bass player on Instagram who gets all the views and likes? Are you crashing and burning already? You better go back and study James Jameson, Jocko. The list is long. Stanley Clark, Bernard Edwards, Louis Johnson. Oh man, so many. It's incredible. The ones in gospel. It takes time to study. It takes time to learn, but you have to have your books and your pen ready to take down these notes. You got to ask yourself, how far do you want to go? What is your expectation of yourself as a bass player? Do you just want to be on Instagram, going lives, everybody watching you play? Are you good with that? If you're good with that, that's fine. Do you aspire to be a professional, a pro? You want to be on records? When I was coming up, I wanted to be on records. That was my desire. That's all I thought about, was being on someone's record. When the record would fade out and the band would start playing again, I would always sit there wondering, Dad, what's the bass player playing when the song faded out? I was obsessed with being on records. That was truly in my heart, And then eventually God gave me what I desired. But when he gave it to me, I was ready. Woo! When he gave it to me, I was ready. When Hezekiah asked me to play on Live in Atlanta, he would say, I want you to play 2 songs. I was ready. I played I Will Go. It's no coincidence that I came up with that intro and that bass line for that song, because I was ready. I had been studying hard. I didn't have social media. I didn't care about what people thought about how I played. I was studying to show myself approved. And a lot of you, this drug, social media, is killing your creativity, is killing your craft, because you don't have the discipline to put it down and go study. Like I said before, you just worried about getting likes, putting up the latest cover tune, the latest bass challenge. The best bass challenge you could ever do is to create your own stuff, get your own sound, get your own tone, and be confident in the bass player that you're trying to become. But nobody wants to hear that. These bass challenges y'all do, what are you gaining from it besides likes and attention? Getting any gigs from it? And if you are getting a gig, the purpose of getting a gig is for those gigs to lead to bigger ones. That part. That means when you go on the gig, you smash so dope, somebody else at the gig asks you to be a part of something that they're working on. That's how I did it. And part of it is you got to be humble. When I first started playing at Wilson's at my boy Ron Grant, the late great Ron Grant's club, Wilson's, bass player named Kurt Lyons was playing the bass. It was his gig. But somehow he took his breaks and he asked me one night, hey, you want to play while I eat? I said, absolutely. Whatever song they sang, I played what I felt was needed for that song. Every Sunday I was there. Sometimes it was 10 minutes, sometimes it was 20. But people started to say, yo, that dude with that red bass is killer. And I got crazy gigs from that because I remained humble and I took whatever scraps he gave me. A lot of you these days just expect to be the greatest of all time because people on your timeline telling you you're the dopest bass player, which is a lie. You had better get deep into the ditches and start learning the real way to play bass and get humble and get out your feelings and stop thinking you better than what you are.
Where he could be a rational voice.
Or you ain't gonna never make it as a pro bass player. I'm telling you, you're not. People feel your energy. People can tell you've been studying. And let me say this before I end. Be very careful with what you display on your social media. You do not ever want to display all the wrong ways of playing bass on a song. A lot of you are doing these remakes of these songs and you all over the place. You like a car with no brakes. Where is that car going? And when is it gonna stop? That song, the bass player that played that song for a reason. That song became a classic for a reason because the bass player played it the right way. Yes, you putting up content is entertaining, but there's a reason why you ain't playing on records. Because you're displaying all the wrong things. You better start displaying the right way to play, and then you get an opportunity. But then, when you do get an opportunity to play on a record, you gotta know how to smash the record without being too busy. How to make it memorable, how to make people say, yo, you gotta hear this bass player on such and such record. There's an art form to knowing what to do. It's an art form to know when to play straight and still sound good and then give some licks and come right back to it. I always had this meter thing where I say, when you play the song, groove, do that lick, come right back down. Another lick, come right back down. The problem is today, you're staying up here. can't stay up here. You gotta come back down. Just go straight. I'm trying to tell y'all. That joint, that's like if that joint was a meter for your heart, you having a heart attack. Yo, they running into your room trying to revive you. Oh man, that's funny. So yo, just calm down and play right here. You can't never go wrong being right here, dead center. And when you're down here, that means you ain't really doing too much. You ain't doing enough. And what you're doing just don't fit the song. Like, oh, come on, bro. Stay up here. It's like being in 440. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be flat. You don't want to be too sharp. Because, you know, either way, it hurts the ears if it's here. You want to be right here. Oh, man, I'm out here making myself laugh. That was funny. But look, I hope you guys got something from this, even if it was just a laugh. But all the things that I told you, I meant. I hope some of you take it serious. And it's time for the bass to become dope again in music. In order for that to happen, it got to start with you just knowing what you're doing. You got to start with creativity, confidence. We need more bass lines out here in this music world if music's ever going to become great again. Even if music's just going to become good again, we need bass lines. We need more creativity. So start studying. And if there's a topic that you want me to cover, hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Or you can email me at thereggieparkershow@gmail.com if there's a topic that you would like for me to cover. And if I think it's cool, I'll get on it. But you guys be blessed. No matter what life throws at you, never lose your swagger. Peace and love. Reggie Parker Show out. Till next time. God bless.